Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will still give maybe another minute for everyone that is outside and joining this event to join us in the room. In the meantime, I would encourage everyone that is taking a seat in the back rows to maybe join us somewhere in the front, if that would work for you. So the entrepreneurs have a good audience here. And with that, I think we can make a start. So dear partners, dear guests, dear entrepreneurs, welcome to this Accelerate 2030 event titled Driving Finance to Scale Entrepreneurial Solutions for the Sustainable Development Goals. My name is Ljubka Mitrinovska. I'm the Global Program Manager and one of the co-initiator and co-leads of Accelerate 2030, together with Santu Botsius, co-founder of Impact Hub Geneva and strategic lead of the program. We would like to start this event with telling you a little bit about Accelerate 2030, our why, and our intention during the Building Bridges Week. Accelerate 2030 is a global program that identifies the most promising entrepreneurial solutions across developing and emerging markets that contribute to the Sustainable Development Goals and helps them scale their impact. The way we do this is by building bridges among entrepreneurs, the development sector, corporates, investors, and other stakeholders. Because we believe as Impact Hub Network that impact does not happen in isolation, but it is the act of meaningful collaborations. And this is the theme that we want to bring to this Building Bridges Week, collaboration.
Yes, good morning. So we initiated this program back in 2016 together with UNDP Geneva. And 10 impact hubs at the time across Africa, Asia, Latin America, and Eastern Europe. Because we really feel that and believe strongly that entrepreneurs have a key role to play when it comes to accelerating the 2030 agenda. And not only the entrepreneurs, but actually one important factor of why we're here today, that also Geneva has a key role to play in this agenda. And so being at the Impact Hub Geneva and being part of a global network of over 100 impact hubs across the world, we felt there was this piece of building bridges that we had to do. And that was to see how can we best connect the amazing resources we have in Geneva with the UN, with the finance sector here, with lots of different country missions, with the corporates and others. How can we connect these with the entrepreneurs that are on the ground, doing the amazing work that they're doing? And actually, we all know that a strategic connection can sometimes change the life of everyone. And we know that us sitting here in Geneva, a phone call away, we can open up those doors to some strategic connections. So fast forward a few years later, and the program now has been implemented in over 30 countries and has become one of the biggest, or if not the biggest program in the world that is connecting or supporting entrepreneurs taking an action for the SDGs.
And yes, we are very much inspired in the context of COP26 happening very recently, and that we are at the edge of a new industrial revolution powered by millions of sustainable innovations, which is an essential need at this moment. And this is what we're bringing with the program and with the entrepreneurs. Santu mentioned a little bit the evolution of the program, and so far it's been implemented in 33 countries. We've received more than 3,000 applications from entrepreneurs and supported more than 400 entrepreneurs in different capacities. And these are all brilliant entrepreneurs and bringing solutions to our most pressing challenges and doing it with really the deepest passion and drive to make a positive change. The way we work with them is supporting them through several different elements, and I'm bringing this because yesterday in the opening of the summit, it was mentioned that impact measurement is key if we want to bring forward impact investment. And we wanted to share with you that our entrepreneurs work very, very closely on measuring their impact. And we work with diverse experts, and with the International Trade Center, we've developed a whole course on measuring impact and connecting it to the SDGs. So this is really a commitment to work on making our contribution and making it measurable. Talking about entrepreneurs, throughout the years we've been honored and pleased to be working with really some brilliant minds. Some of them tackling the waste crisis in Asia or sanitation in the most marginalized communities across Africa, or developing alternative insect protein in Latin America, and many, many others, some of whom you will meet today. We were really proud to see in the last cohort of the global program that even in the most difficult year in the middle of the crisis, entrepreneurs and their ventures were still able to increase their number of end beneficiaries to almost 200%, reach 60 new markets, and raise $6 million US. And with that said around the program, we would like to now introduce you to the rest of the agenda for today. Santu having mentioned the uniqueness of the Geneva ecosystem and the connections we're trying to make with it, I would like to invite Ms. Beatrice Ferrari from the Canton of Geneva, Director of International Affairs, to welcome us today. Beatrice.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Also from the Canton of Geneva, I just wanted to say a very warm welcome to this session, a very warm welcome also especially to our young entrepreneurs who made it all the way to Geneva. We know that this time is not such an easy thing. So you're very welcome to be here in Geneva. You're here at the heart of a very special ecosystem. You might know it already, but it's something that is not always very well known. You have here a very high density and diversity of stakeholders dealing with global issues. You have 40 international organizations almost, you have more than 400 NGOs, you have 177 states represented here, but you have also a very dense private sectors made of international companies, made of finance that is here to support also projects. So we are here in a very special ecosystem that is also about connection, that is also about talents, that is also about capacities, and I encourage you to take advantage of what you will be able to find here in Geneva. Sometimes when we talk about Agenda 2030, we think it's a political ideology. It is not. It is probably the only way forward that we have to build resilient societies, but also resilient economies. What is the political question is how do we get there? And I believe that entrepreneurship is really one of the key issues. Why? Because it's not only about making business, it's about being able to find solutions, it's being able to address needs, to be creative, to adapt to changing situation. And I think that is only by cultivating this entrepreneurship mindset that we will be able to be resilient worldwide. So I thank you very much, Impact Hub and UNDP, to support this project that is a very nice one. And my call to action today would be to encourage you to make the most out of the connection you will find here, and from the Geneva perspective, to encourage all the stakeholders that are here to help these young entrepreneurs find a solution, find way to scale up their project. Thank you. Have a good session.
And with that, I would like to invite Aggie Veres, Director of UNDP Geneva, to share a little bit about your perspective on the topic.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Does this work? Yeah. Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here from UNDP and to talk to you a little bit about how this program can help and what we can do together to move this agenda forward. As the colleagues were referring to at the beginning, collaboration is, of course, one of the major issues that can move the entrepreneurs and their access to the financing and the networks forward, especially in the context of the current financial system and the financing ecosystem that is driving towards quite unsustainable futures. So we need to look how we can not just address the challenge of closing the finance gap, but essentially alignment of the financial system and connecting it to the demand and supply. And we all know that the demand has grown now as a result of COVID-19. And I think you've all heard the figures yesterday, if you participated in any of the sessions, that the estimate is $4.2 trillion now there in terms of the financing gap that needs to address the SDGs. However, we also know that the challenge is not the money out there. The funding is there, but it's not going necessarily to the right entities, to the right goals, and it's not accessible by everyone. Our mission as UNDP is of course, our main mandate is to help achieve the SDGs and to move the needle on sustainable development. But one of the main aspects of this is how we assess countries to align their private sector activities and investments with this 2030 agenda. And there are many avenues on that. We have financing that is looking at more on the large-scale financing, but we have then initiatives just like this, where we want to make sure that the entrepreneurs, the small and medium enterprises are also growing and have a very important role in the ecosystem at the national level. As you mentioned, we have started together with you the Accelerate2030 with the Impact Hub, and I'm really happy to see, even though I'm new, I know from my colleagues how far you've gotten, and I'm very happy to see where this initiative has gone. I think because of the challenges, especially of the scale of the transaction cost, of the due diligence that you're all very familiar with when we're working with small and medium enterprises and the entrepreneurs, these initiatives are crucial to address those challenges and to close those gaps that otherwise it would be too hard to bridge just between investors and entrepreneurs. I have worked in several developing countries, and I know from firsthand experience that the SMEs and social enterprising in these countries are really fundamental part of the economic fabric, and they play a crucial role in furthering the growth and especially the innovation in these countries. So without supporting these initiatives, we would really omit an important part of the business sector that we want to foster and develop. We need to see the innovation coming out of entrepreneurs like yourself, that otherwise wouldn't come. I remember it was almost 10 years ago, I guess, if not more, that we organized an entrepreneurs event in Lesotho, in one of the least developed countries in the world, in Southern Africa. And we have seen entrepreneurs coming up with innovative ideas that were not even close to the mainstream business ideas and the markets. And by fostering those ideas, we're not just helping the entrepreneurs, we're not just helping getting access to capital, access to capacity, but we really shouldn't underestimate the multiplier effect. So when we talk about scale, it's not just about scale of how many entrepreneurs we're supporting, it's about scale of what is the visibility, what is the advocacy that these initiatives are supporting, and how that encourages the local markets to develop, and how that encourages the local business environment to look at entrepreneurship in a very different way. Unfortunately, access to finance is probably the single most important barrier facing the SMEs, and we do know the reasons. So while this is a challenge, it's also not necessarily a challenge that we cannot overcome. With support just like this initiative and others, we can overcome the barriers and the reasons why investors may not directly go and access or offer financing for small businesses and entrepreneurs. To overcome that, I think we need to focus on a couple of things. One is to make sure that we put the economic benefit up front, so the business sector and investors actually see the economic return on that. Secondly, we need to help reduce the risk. So organizations that are not focusing on the profit can help reduce the risk by offering some due diligence and overall capacity building for the sector. And thirdly, it's on the impact. We can help measure and show the impact that these kinds of initiatives achieve, and by that, hopefully attracting more finance and more impact investments. And lastly, just one thought on one of the new ways forward. If we want to overcome these challenges, I think we also need to approach things differently. We're looking at financial instruments of today, those that we know of, those that we are developing with the finance sector. But there could be other ways we haven't even thought about. So when we talk about innovation, I hope that we can also talk about innovation of processes, partnerships, and engagement that could help overcome these challenges, that could help us aggregate the impact and the scale that investors are looking for. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing from you. Unfortunately, I won't be able to stay for the whole time, but my colleagues will be here, and of course, we will continue to be a very close partner to Accelerate 2030. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Agi, for that inspirational message. I would now like to invite Mr. Guido Beltrani from our partners at the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation, Head of Inclusive Economic Development. Guido, please join us.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I'm very, very glad to be here, to see so many young people, young entrepreneurs in the audience, and I'm really looking forward during the session to hear about your innovative entrepreneurial ideas. Well, I was asked a very simple and very complicated question for this message. And the question is, why is entrepreneurship so important to achieve the SDGs? Well, the main answer, we all know it, is that the Sustainable Development Goals are so ambitious that it will be impossible to achieve them alone for every part of the society. So we need partnerships between government, multilateral organizations, the civil society, academia, and entrepreneurs, and the private sector. And in particular, if we speak about the private sector, it will be absolutely necessary to mobilize massive resources from the private sector. And if I speak about resources, I don't mean only investments. We have heard it by Ms. Veres has mentioned the financial gap to achieve the SDGs. It is very important, but we need also innovations. We need also knowledge resources, and here I think is the area where social entrepreneurs can really make the difference. So this is a very important point. Another important reason why entrepreneurship is so important for achieving the SDGs is that entrepreneurs develop durable solutions. And if I say durable, I mean in environmental sense, yes, of course, in social sense, but also commercially durable. If they are not commercially durable, you would not be able to stay successfully on the long term in the market. So this is a very important aspect. Speaking about social enterprises, we as a Swiss Agency for Development Cooperation, we are the part of the Swiss government. We coordinate the official development aid of Switzerland. You are a very important partner for us. Why? Because we mostly share values, vision, and also the core mission, which is to develop solutions for the burning problems of the poor and of the planet. And we know from many of our projects and programs that social entrepreneurs are ready to accept higher risks or even lower profits in order to be able to develop innovative solutions with social or environmental benefits. Moreover, you are often a spring of innovative solutions, not only speaking about technologies, but also disruptive business models, disruptive approaches. Now, let me add maybe some words about how we, as the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation, partner with the private sector at large and with social entrepreneurs specifically. We have in general a quite diversified approach. We have partnerships with large companies, multinationals, with small and medium enterprises, with grant-making foundations, impact investors, and social entrepreneurs. And we work with private actors in a number of sectors, from access to finance, agriculture and nutrition, health, education, vocational training, and of course climate change. We have heard it yesterday, how important it is, water or migration. The Swiss strategy for international cooperation for the period 21 to 24, which has been approved last year by the Parliament, it is a bit our Bible, it states that Switzerland wants to strengthen and also diversify its cooperation with the private sector. And it mentions specifically impact investors and social enterprises as interesting partners to cooperate. And this is actually what we are doing now. We have an increasing number of programs across the globe, in Latin America, in Asia, and in Africa, which have the objective to strengthen social enterprises and the ecosystem around them. And normally in these programs, we cooperate with incubators, accelerators, including the impact hubs. Just to mention a couple of them, we have just started a program with the Impact Hub in Kigali, which has the objective to support innovative startups that want to foster circular food system in Rwanda. And we have in the health sector also a cooperation with the Impact Hub Basel that has as objective to support innovative startups and link them with large multinationals in the healthcare sector or innovative investments. So, concluding, I think we believe in cooperation for more impact, and in this sense, I encourage all of us to continue working together and strengthen entrepreneurial forces for a better future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Guido, and thank you for mentioning the topics of circular economy and health, which were quite important themes in this fourth edition of the program. And with that, we'd segue in the maybe most exciting part of the event today, which is the presentations by our entrepreneurs. To give you a bit of context, these are entrepreneurs from the current fourth edition of the program, which was run across 20 countries. And the people that you're about to hear from have been selected out of more than 1,400 applications. They have gone through our National Skill Ready program alongside 260 other entrepreneurs. And it was a really difficult task to choose here in Geneva out of 70 nominations who would be the top 15. Two of them unfortunately didn't make it to Geneva, but we have the other 13. And the way, so this is the whole cohort, and you will meet most of them today. And the way we will run the session is that entrepreneurs will present. We will not be able to take questions after each presentation because of the time limitation. And what we will do is open up this opportunity to go to the link that you see on the slide, use the code that you see there, and start inserting your questions as we go through the presentations, if you have any, in a way that you put your name, your organization, who are you posing the question to, and then inserting your question. We will do our best to carve out this time during the session, but we are pacing ourselves. And since there is a live stream, and hi to everyone watching us through the live stream, we will be committed to finish at time. So maybe with the audience in the hall, we can actually take a few questions at the very end if timing doesn't allow before. So with that, without further ado, I would like to invite the first entrepreneur on stage, Gorjan Jovanovski of Air Care from North Macedonia.
Thank you. Amazing. Hi. I'd like to invite all of you to take a deep breath with me. Do you know what was in the air you just inhaled? I didn't when I was a kid back in North Macedonia, and I didn't care. I took clean air for granted as much as all we did, but this is the city that I actually live in. And only by accidental university research did I discover that it is very much polluted 20 times over EU limits, 4 times over Beijing. And on a global level, 7 million people lose their lives every year due to pollution. But no one was talking about this. Where was the media? Where are the social networks? Where are the people on the streets? Silence. I couldn't stand by and watch this happen. I wanted to do something about this. So I created AirCare. AirCare is a mobile app that tracks air pollution and helps you know exactly what you breathe. What we do is we take open air quality data from government, volunteer, and satellite network stations and put it all together in a platform that's in the palm of your hand and helps you know exactly what the air quality is outside. After launching this in North Macedonia, we had members of parliament waving screenshots of the app demanding greener policies. We had people on the streets protesting and saying, hey, look, we want cleaner air. And we even had corporates implementing filters on top of their chimneys so they stop polluting the air. And after trying this in North Macedonia in 2015 and expanding it to Serbia, we were able to prove the impact on a micro scale because it had the exact same effect in Serbia and people were awake and on the streets. This started as a side project in 2015, and throughout the years it has grown tremendously. We were able to reach 1.8 million unique people with our app, and hopefully by 2023, we're going to inform more than 7 million people of what they breathe. And our work has been featured in over 100 major media mentions, from Forbes, BBC, Google, NASA, the UN, and we've received over 20 national and international awards for our work. Of course, we're not the first ones to create an air quality app, but when we looked at our competitors, some of them which have received 15 million in funding, this is what they see in Skopje. Red pollution, sure, but this is what we see. We're able to pinpoint exactly where air pollution is coming from and help both local governments and activists take action. From a business perspective, we already make 7,000 euros a month and we're profitable from the B2C side, where we have pro subscriptions, green ads, product placements within the app, and we work with air purifier manufacturers to use our platform as a digital marketing tool for them. But we also want to work with insurance companies, TV stations, weather apps, all of these to help use all of the data we've collected throughout the years and help them make better decisions. We're live in 45 countries around the world, but are targeting 150 as we speak because they all face air pollution issues. And how are we getting there? Well, with your help. We're looking for a partner with eco-connections and a passion for clean air and a 200K investment to expand in the US and APAC markets. My name is Gorjan. I'm the founder and CEO of AirCare. Together with Dragan and Elena, we make this amazing team. And before I leave you, this is the air quality in Geneva. And you think you're breathing clean air? So, help us save 7 million lives and join AirCare. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that very inspirational presentation, Gorjan. Up next, Zehra Solmaz from A2030, Turkey.
Hi, this is Zehra from Turkey, Istanbul, and I'm an environmental engineer, and I have been really passionate about our planet and our environment from my childhood, actually. And I have, for 5-6 years actually, I was studying, searching and researching on climate justice, climate change, and socio-ecological sustainability. And that's why now I am part of our venture According, because According is also creating some technologies for fighting climate change, and we are feeling the effects of the climate change more and more every day. According to IPCC's report, we need 1.2 trillion more trees on the planet for stop this climate crisis. But with conventional afforestation way, it's impossible to reach this number by the 2030. And that's why we created Ecodrone. Ecodrone is the unmanned aerial vehicle developed by According in Turkey, and it delivers seed ball shots. Hard to reach areas need to be afforested. And actually we are imitate the way how forests are formed in the nature. And with our, if you compare to conventional way, we have 16 times more effective seed germination rates and also 12 times more less afforestation costs. And these seed balls are also producing by women who are deeply affected climate crisis. And this way we are trying to reduce their actually inequalities. And also in our business model, we are integrating the brands, services and products to one QR code, and thanks to this QR code actually consumers can follow their seed germination journey for almost 2 years via email. And from 2019, we reach out 4.5 million people on Turkey and also globally. And this is our passionate and lovely team. Actually, we are kind of 16 people. And our impact goal is delivering 1 billion seed balls all around the world, because we believe that climate crisis is a global problem, not a local problem. And we have currently more than 16 brands and clients actually. Some of them are Dell, Intel, Nike, L'Oreal, Toyota. And we would like to, actually, we aim to scale our impacts and business model to another regions and countries, because, as I mentioned, climate crisis is not a local crisis, it's a global crisis. And the regions are mainly South Africa, South America, and Europe. And we believe that we should be part of the solution, not the problem. That's why if you would like to be part of the solution, you can scan this QR code. And thanks for listening.
Thank you, Zehra. Up next, we have Paula Santiago from UNRG Colombia. Paula, let's encourage her with a warm round of applause.
Hi. We need to make significant investment in infrastructure over the next 10 years to face climate change. Around $90 trillion by 2030, which means more than 100 times the GDP of Switzerland. It's a big challenge. My partners and I faced a similar challenge some years ago when we were trying to massify solar energy in Colombia. But even if Colombia has a huge potential for solar energy, we found two main problems. First, we found many companies with high energy consumption, large rooftops desiring to reduce their costs, but without liquidity to invest in infrastructure, difficult access to credits, and high interest rates. But on the other side, we found many people like us willing to invest in sustainability, but without options to do it. And that's why we created UNRG, a digital platform that connects people who want to invest in renewables with companies who desire to consume cleaner and cheaper energy without investment costs or debt. What we do is that we offer between 20 to 35% cheaper energy tariffs, energy coming from the solar energy systems that people invest on and get a profit from it. We earn by taking a 10% fee on the energy sold and a 3% fee of the installation cost of the projects. We are aware of our competitors, but what makes us unique is that we are giving the opportunity to anyone to invest and also for customers to have green energy and data to make better decisions. How? Through technology. Our platform is based on IoT to offer real-time monitoring for investors and companies, blockchain to back any contract and transaction, and finally, a smart meter that we developed to offer transparency and add value to customers through energy efficiency. In less than 2 years, we have connected more than 6,000 people, and more than 600 of them have invested in renewable projects, and now we are generating clean energy and avoiding CO2 emissions. So far, we're in Colombia, but we expect to achieve Brazilian market next year and other countries in the future. But our main objective in the next 5 years is to connect more than 1 million people investing with purpose. And that will be possible because of this multidisciplinary team who is led by my partners and I, who have technical, strategy, and financial backgrounds. We are raising $500,000 in order to reach Brazilian market and continue improving our platform. This is Paola Santiago. I'm the CFO and co-founder of Unergy. Feel free to contact me later, and I would love to answer your questions. And let's together face our challenge. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Paola. Up next, Andres Martinez. We're staying in Colombia from Value Investment Colombia.
Good morning. I'm Andres Martinez, an architect and planner with expert experience in water. We have a decentralized water system in Colombia. We are an urban planet. And in Latin America, most of the people live in 6 megacities. And the relation to water relates to tap water, flushing toilets, and floods. That has departed us from nature and understanding that water is life and life is nature. I was part of the problem. I used to be one of the directors of one of the biggest developer firms doing large-scale housing projects. They flooded 10 years ago, and I decided to do something about it after seeing what I've created. And it showed me that linear systems, water systems, are not suitable to climate change adaptations. So we created this company. We are a company that emulates water cycle, but by bringing natural solutions. We have three products in the market. We have an agreement with Veolia, the biggest company in the world, for these systems. And we have in the market already a green discount solution that is serving 50,000 users. We manage stormwater and with natural solutions. We decrease risk flood and create environment for people to reach. We have a patent systems to recharge groundwater and avoid the depletion and guarantee access to fresh water. We harvest rainwater and produce drinkable water, especially for the people in the rural areas and kids. The market is huge. The transformation from linear systems in gray infrastructure into green infrastructure is huge in the region. We have different sources of revenue that I'm willing to discuss more deeply with you guys if you're interested in a model. These are the impacts of our projects today. We have decreased floods. We have provided potable water, and we have doubled the access to green spaces. This is our team. We are here because of their effort, and we're looking to grow into Colombia and consolidate Colombia and go into Mexico. We're looking for $400,000 investment, and hope you like our company and you will work with us and help us transform the water industry in Latin America. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Andres. And now moving from Latin America to Africa, we invite Papi Biganza from Afia Group Rwanda to join us on stage. Let's welcome him with a warm round of applause.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Biganza Papi. I'm the founder and CEO of Afia Pharma. Afia Pharma is a pharmaceutical e-commerce platform that makes medicine more affordable and easily accessible to billions of people across Africa. I had a grandfather who died in 2019 with asthma. The reason was the medicine was very, very expensive and he couldn't get to the city to buy medication. That's why I founded Afia Pharma. And our technologies ensure that to make quality medication affordable to 20% discount and convenient and private, and we make as well, we provide privacy, such as to people who have unpleasant health embarrassing issues, such as erectile dysfunction, yeast infection. We have a mobile app and website, but currently, as you know, in a rural population, the internet penetration is very low. We are incorporating the USSD code in our system so that people without internet to access our menu of medication. The African pharmaceutical market size is 20 billion, while the pharmaceutical market in Rwanda is 165 million. Our target market, our primary target market is people with chronic disease, such as cardiovascular disease, chronic pulmonary disease, and diabetes. Why? Because those people need to refill their prescription on a monthly basis, and they need a daily pharmacological therapy. Our secondary target market are people living in rural areas. You might surprise that we have 117 pharmacies in rural areas that support 10 million population. What is our competitive advantages? We offer affordability, 20% discount on medication, convenience, we are 24/7 available, and we are offering as well privacy. We are aware that we have competition in Africa, and our business model, how do we make money? We get 17% of net margin on transaction per sale. Since we began the operation in 2021 January, we served over 2,200 people to gain access to medication. We generated $27,000. On top of that, we secured an FDA license, which is extremely difficult in my country to get. And I would like to invite you to this opportunity to increase medication in Africa. Our ask is $150,000 so that we can expand our user base from 2,200 users to 200,000 users. I would like, together we can make medication accessible to Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Papi. And now staying in the health sector, but moving across continents, we have Lancet, Aaron Prabnu-Stanley joining us from Lancet, China and Netherlands.
Good morning. It is shocking how, even after decades of progress, the cases of malaria are increasing. Every year, we see more than 1,200 registered deaths, which is an underestimation. It was 2011 when I was on a business trip to Kenya working in a textile factory. I found myself in a funeral of a 4-year-old. I was shocked to hear that the child had passed away because of a mosquito bite. I left Kenya during that trip as a changed person, determined to do something about it. Fast forward, 5 years later, I was back in Kenya, this time along with my business partner, having a meeting with the Ministry of Health, discussing strategies of eliminating malaria. From that point, there has been no turning back, and we've aligned closely with the WHO and heeded their call to develop sustainable and scalable solutions to up our fight against malaria. Through a unique two-track approach, Lancet has developed various products which can contribute to the fight and ultimately eliminate the disease. On track 1, we have our next generation bed nets, which uses dual insecticides with a patented microencapsulation technology. On our indoor residual spraying product, is 2 times more efficacy and residual effect compared to the competitor products in the market. We also have a drug discovery project where we have screened more than 200,000 compounds and qualified 14 candidates for scalability studies. All this would not have been possible without a diverse and experienced team who have been walking alongside this journey with us. We also have partnership with various research organizations and leaders. Among them are the Bill Gates Foundation, who have funded our work. In the past funding, we have raised more than 10 million euros, which have been used to achieve significant milestone along the years. On the research and development, we have crossed all of the risk stages, and we are very close to market entry, and 2 of our 4 products entering the market in 2023. The market size for malaria prevention is at $2 billion, with stabilized market with the Ministry of Health, global donors, and retail customers. Our first phase of market entry is with the top 10 malaria burden countries. Our ask this morning is for 17 million euros, and 12 million of it goes to an acquisition of an existing portfolio of a competitor, and 5 million to complete our R&D trials. Just as I mentioned before, there are 1,200 deaths every single day, and more than 75% of them are children under 5. Every life is precious, every life matters, and every life has potential. If this resonates with you, let us connect together and join hands to be the generation that consigns malaria to the history books. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aaron. That's an extremely inspiring story and an extremely inspiring ambition. At the moment, we are not seeing questions coming through our online platform. Maybe, may I have the clicker, please? We'll just put it back. In any case, we are a little bit behind time. So what I would encourage you is, if there are questions, do drop them in, and we will take some time in the end. And now we would like to, before going to the next batch of presentations, have a bit of a discussion with some of our alumni and an investor from our community. And so first of all, we're very happy and proud to have alumni returning to Geneva and returning to the program. Thank you so much for that. And unpack a little bit what has happened in these past 2 years and what have been some experience and learning in raising funds when working towards the SDGs as an entrepreneur. So I would like to invite together with me on stage Audrey Selian, Director of Arta Impact and Rianta Capital, Muhammad Fauzal Rizki from Sampangan, Indonesia, and Alejandro Ortega from SIBO. Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
And traveling all across the world to return to the program. So maybe just a short introduction to what your companies do and what are some of the major developments in the past 2 years since you last visited us in Geneva.
Yeah, hi everyone, my name is Fauzal from Sampangan, Indonesia. So what we do is basically we convert all kinds of waste without the need to be sorted into sustainable products that we use to increase productivity in organic agriculture and a lot of other downstream circular economy industry. And we're doing this using a technology that we call the Magic Box. So it's actually very excited to be back here because when I got here in 2019, like we were just like a very small company, like in a place that probably not a lot of people know, which is Aceh. And then a lot of things has changed since then. So after we get back home from Geneva, we were able to grow our company by 20x during the pandemic. through the learnings that we have here and through the connections that was made here. And not only that, we are preparing ourselves for our first internationalization to establish our zero waste management site with an organic agriculture partner that we met in Geneva as part of the cohort. So we didn't even think or even dream that the technology or the business that we created in Indonesia to be able to actually solve a global problem as well. But that is exactly what is happening here. For the very first time, like people like me and a lot of others in the room have access to opportunities, to resources, to really not just to scale their business, but also themselves as well as the impact. And in a lot of ways, I think Accelerate2030 have actually built the bridge for us to scale.
Thank you so much, and for framing that so well within the Building Bridges Week. Alejandro, yes, please share a little bit with us.
Of course. Well, just as Fazal mentioned, I think we have been able to scale ourselves. When we got started here, I was coming from Costa Rica, my home country. The name of our company was Costa Rica Insect Company in that moment. And our vision was to save the world eating bugs. That scaled a lot. Now the name of our company is Cibo. And the name of Cibo is actually the name of the main Costa Rican god who taught natives how to use the natural resources in a responsible and sustainable way. So we are basically using the knowledge that we had from the past with the technology of the now to create the future. And we have been able to develop the world's first process to isolate the insect biocomponents. So there is no insect anymore, and there is protein, there is fats, there is fiber, there are biopolymers, there are other solutions, and we have become the world's first functional food ingredient company based on insects. And all of that happened across these past 2 years of pandemic, of challenges, of personal challenges. And sometimes we forget about those, right? During the past pandemic, I think we have been able to understand better that there is different types of risks, as we were mentioning before, for developing a company. We started with a market risk and technology risk. We had a small market, we scaled into the Netherlands, and we got partners, we got investment, and we proved the market with some other corporates. We had the technical risk. We had partners, we had investment, and then we proved the concept. And we had these other risks that nobody was telling us about, the personal risk, the entrepreneurial risk. And I gotta tell you, and something that is very common here with these entrepreneurs is that you are not gonna have ever the risk for us giving up, because we care a lot about this problem. And so today we are basically asking you to care as much as we do, because the biggest risk that we have is actually not taking any actions. So again, that's my call to action.
Thank you, Alejandro. On that note, turning to Audrey, a close investor friend of ours from who we learn a lot continuously, and recently a published author. Please, we will need to share that in the end. Please pick up that book. Audrey, what is your kind of insight of what are the trends and movements within the investment community when it comes to investing in SDG-related entrepreneurs?
Thank you, Livka. It's so lovely to be here and to hear the stories and to see the pitches again. So impressive, so inspiring. My name is Audrey Sellian. I've been with Rianta Capital for 15 years, and we are kind of a dedicated advisory to a single family office, and we've been investing directly in India in social enterprises. And we probably have invested in close to 30 companies, 30 social enterprises, all of whom are mission-driven companies. So spanning across sectors like agriculture, health, skills, waste management, energy, etc. In terms of the trends that we see, I mean, 12, 15 years ago, I think there was a far lower level of concentration of investors, of the mechanisms and the conveners that were really bringing together the most inspiring stories, the most inspiring entrepreneurs. Today, there's a very high concentration. Much of it is here today, and circling in and around the Impact Hub networks. I also have the privilege of being a co-founder of an impact hub in Yerevan. So we've also seen the impact of what having such a structure and organization does to an ecosystem that's nascent. In terms of the trends with investment activity, I would say there are more associations and networks and clubs than ever before. We have, for every investor that is interested, that is curious, that seeks to dip a toe in the waters, there are other investors who are willing to help carry them into looking at specific opportunities and pipelines. We, as a matter of strategic kind of consideration and policy, co-invest systematically. Every single one of our investments is a co-investment with another impact investor. And of course, you know, there are transaction costs and difficulties with diligence when you're sitting in a market that's far from your target market. But the opportunity today to find the partners, the like-minded, the peers, it doesn't actually take much more than attending an event or two. And there are so many people willing to share, you know, the processes around due diligence, to think strategically about partnerships. So all this to say, it's just one little word of hope, I guess, to say the collaborative potential is being unlocked as we speak. I think, you know, step in, the call to action from an investor perspective is act, because we have the opportunity to manage and mitigate the risk together. And if we don't act, you know, essentially the burden that sits on the shoulders of these entrepreneurs will not be lessened. I mean, the multi-trillion-dollar shortfall in the SDGs is seriously big. And the only way that we're going to actually see a closing of this gap is by us as investors taking those risks to be able to support these entrepreneurs. So just, yeah, my 2 cents on what I see and what we're experiencing in India. And one last point. Somebody yesterday asked me about, well, somebody from a bank asked me about, well, you know, I guess your family office was really, you know, ready to I guess, to take the risk and to accept the trade-offs. That, oh, you're just going to take a haircut. You're definitely not going to make any money doing this. And I said, you know, well, we have set an 8% target. And while our portfolio is not liquid, of course, where we're trending is probably around 7.5% in terms of portfolio-wide IRRs. So I'll just say, you know, I think in certain markets, certainly, the days of the trade-off are over. So I'll just end with that note.
Thank you, Audrey. Those are very, very valuable 2 cents indeed. What you kind of pointed to, the collaboration and a little bit this proximity to the market in which people are investing, is a conversation we were also having with Faisal and his experiences in raising funds in these past 2 years. Would you like to share a little bit of your experiences, opportunities, challenges you've seen, and also this collaboration element in working with investors?
Yeah, so when we started the company in 2019, we actually talked to a lot of types of investors, angels, VCs, corporate VCs, banking, and more. But what we realized at that time, pre-pandemic, it is very difficult to get funding for like impact businesses, businesses that actually beyond profitability, right? So, but what happened after after the pandemic is that suddenly a lot of financing institutions start to care, especially angels, right? And like before, like even now, angels are actually the one who are actively seeking for businesses that have impact. So that is like one of the things that actually happened to us when right now we're raising 500K, and without even starting, people actually came. And all of this is happening because like right now, the COVID-19 pandemic have actually accelerated the awareness and also the ability to take action. Because for the first time, they see that the crisis is now. If we don't do something about it now, like we're doomed. So like Accelerate2030, for example, have opened up a lot of opportunities for fellow entrepreneurs. Like, for example, like it would never been possible for us to even go to Brazil. Like even right now, we're even talking to the current cohort of even potentially like collaborating from Turkey, Brazil, and Indonesia. And these sessions and conferences that we have actually bridges the trust gap that are lacking before. The authenticity of being vulnerable and building that trust to actually can create collaboration. So although there risk, there always be risk, right? But the benefit commercially, even impact outweigh the risk that we can mitigate together. Yeah.
Thank you, Faisal. Alejandro, anything to follow up in? Do you also feel this sense of urgency now within this context? Do you feel conversations are changing? Any tips and tricks you would have to share with entrepreneurs and investors from your experiences in raising funds?
Well, there are many learnings, and I do see this trend that everything has been accelerating because the challenges have been accelerating. We have all started to understand more and more about the issue that we're dealing with. But at the end of the day, something that I still see is that as it goes on time, it becomes easier until we go through the initial risks. But that initial risk that we have is that risk that Aubrey was mentioning, the risk of taking action. And for us, is the risk of every single day not making it. Because literally, we're not paying a salary ourselves at the beginning. We are looking for help to solve the issues the investors are telling us that we have. And we know, we are aware, and we are still taking the risk. So what do we have to do? Well, start a conversation. Just like Faisal was saying, let's start a conversation. If you see a risk, please be my guest, let us know. Let's solve it together. There are many resources that we have found. Sometimes we don't even need the money. Let's start the conversation, and that's something that we have created. Now we are in the process of our Series A, and guess what? We started a conversation 2 years ago, and the conversation has become something tangible now. And that's just happening because we started to care, and we found people who cared, and then, well, it creates a snowball effect. And I think we're getting there.
Thank you, Alejandro. So maybe finishing this conversation, there are a lot of messages and a lot of learnings and a lot of calls to actions already from what we are hearing in this conversation, and a lot of resonance among you all. We're sitting in Geneva. We kind of heard what the Geneva ecosystem has to offer, how unique of an ecosystem it is. We are in the midst of the Building Bridges Week, discussing how to channel more funding towards the SDGs. We have part of the Geneva ecosystem here. We have them in the live stream. We have them across the events. What would be your call to action to the people that are here this week discussing these topics?
This is an opportunity during COVID to meet the people that are already here. So go ahead and meet them, because that's the only part that we cannot do through Zoom. The due diligence is an easy process, but the trusting part is a bit difficult still.
Yeah, I think I also resonate with what Ali is sharing. Now is the time for us to build the relationship so that we can share resources and collaborate on existing tangible actions for the problem they're facing now. Not the future, but right now. So let's just, let's talk after this and see where it goes.
Audrey, any closing words?
Yeah, so 12 years ago, we built a platform so that we could collaborate on the due diligence with peer investors. Whether it's a tool like that, whether it's in person, whether you're using an Excel spreadsheet, whatever, I would just encourage those who would have the interest to engage in a collaborative process of sourcing, discovery, diligence, and execution. And you know, if even half of the sponsors on the list here include investable impact products in their portfolios, I think we'll win the game. So hopefully it's just a matter of inspiration, and there's no shortage of that here.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me in this conversation. They will all be here after the event to connect and continue the conversation if you have any questions around some of the points that they made. Thank you so much. A round of applause for our speakers. Thank you. Talking about inspiration, we're still not done. There is another round of inspiration boost coming your way. We're starting with the next round of presentations by the Accelerate2030 entrepreneurs. And I would like to invite on stage Juan Samarossi from Pelletics, Costa Rica. Let's welcome him with a warm round of applause.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Juan Sauma, and I'm the founder of Pelletics. You know, wood is a great natural resource, but 99% of the products we made out of wood, there's rectangles or squares. So what happens with the rest? We made that question back in 2007, and we found out that in Costa Rica, this waste was going to landfills, burn, etc. So we decided to found Pelletics in 2010 with the aim of producing renewable energy for the local industries in Costa Rica. So far, we have collected more than 400,000 tons of wood waste, and we have avoided more than 100,000 tons of CO2 through the use of this clean energy we made out of waste. The case of Bristol Firestone is the first worldwide tire company to use pellets. Just by switching to pellets, they reduce 55% of their carbon footprint. But recently, we are also thinking of other ways of contributing to environment through the use of pellets. We found Tropical Spark. We made also Pelletics, which is Ecopets, which is cat litter, and it substitutes the use of bentonite in the cat litter. It makes no sense to use bentonite. They just produce more waste. Now we have a very good alternative for the cat litter industry. Recently, we mixed the wood pellets with beneficial microorganisms, so we accelerate the process of making compost out of organic wastes. In Costa Rica, every month we throw to landfill 100,000 tons of waste, and 50% is organic. Per every ton of organic waste that we process, we can save to environment 4.2 tons of CO2. We already installed 20,000 compost bins at homes, and we want to do more. We are still growing the energy sector. We have Bristol, we have Intercontinental Hotel, Marriott's, and some others. But recently, with these three new products, we are in Walmart and in the main supermarkets in Costa Rica. And we are recently launched also on Amazon and some supermarkets in the south of Florida. But we want more. That's why I'm here. I want to ask you for advice and support in order to have some support on the commercialization of these products in international markets. We want to make it global. Also, we're looking for a funding of $4 million in order to have better conditions on the terms and loans and interest. And we are open to debt and equity structures. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Juan. Now staying in Latin America, moving to Argentina, we will hear from Unibio. Florencia, welcome us on stage. Hello.
Okay. Hello to everyone. Did you know that in agricultural production, we use enough toxic chemical to fill 2 dams every year? I'm born in Entre Rios, Argentina. Entre Rios is an agricultural zone that it used to be called all the greens. All the greens because all different green colors that you can see across the field. But now this is gone. Our chemicals we use are killing the biodiversity, and leaving everything in one color. But it's not about colors. It's about that our chemicals we use are killing the microorganisms that are still in the soil, contaminate the water we drink, and the most important thing, making people sick. So we need to have a change in the way we produce food. That's why at Univio, we create an ingredient what could reduce the toxicity of our chemical formula. After 10 years of research, we developed a nanoparticle that we obtain by recycling the waste of shrimp that is affecting the Patagonia. We sell this particle to the companies that nowadays produce agrochemical so they can create a new formulas that are more effective and less toxic. For example, we test our particles with the most common herbicide use, glyphosate, and we reduce 80% the chemical use. The global markets of the chemical is about 240 billion, but it's highly concentrated in 10 companies. Most of the three important are here in Europe. We have received some LIOs, and we are conducting our first pilot test in the field with 3 companies in Argentina. Our next step is to open a seed round with 800,000 euros, and we are looking for more companies to willing out to try our technology. The impact global of our solution is big. For example, if we improve glyphosate, we can reduce 100,000 tons in toxic chemicals, and we reduce the 100% of the waste in the Patagonia, of the waste stream in the Patagonia. Our team is a combined team with expertise in science and business, and at Univio we understand the importance of protect the biodiversity to keep all life safe. I'm Florencia, a proud scientist of Univio, and we are invited to you to talk with us in this week at Biden Bridget, and to join us in accelerate the global transition to a more sustainable agriculture. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Florencia. As you can see, a thread in this group of ventures working on driving the circular economy shift, resource transformation. And we have up next Mariola Urguelas Ventura from Sun Spectra.
I would like ourselves to imagine on a really sunny and sandy beach. We put on sunscreen and we decide to take a dip in the water to freshen up a bit. While we are enjoying ourselves, the sunscreen starts to wash off and forms that greasy layer we normally see on pools or in the ocean. But have you ever wondered where all of this ends up? About 40,000 tons of sunscreen enters the world coral reefs each year. This, in conjunction with other factors, promote their bleaching and death. About 85% of coral reefs around the Caribbean have already been lost. We're killing a habitat that not only marine life depends on, but coastal communities as well, without even realizing it. I started my research, and on this research is where I found coral reefs, an often forgotten ecosystem, and my inner introvert connected. But for me to be heard, I have to step out of my comfort zone for them to have a voice. And this is where Sun Spectra was born. We have developed unique formulations that have an impact beyond their consumers. They are based on a circular economy model, and they are tailored for a wellness and conscious consumer. Our first product line is a papaya-based sunscreen that does not promote coral bleaching. But why papaya? Papaya is not only rich in vitamins and minerals, but 30% of its production worldwide is being wasted. So we decided to incorporate small local producers as one of our key pillars in our value chain. From them, we're buying their agricultural waste, and we are transforming them into products with an added value. This wellness and conscious market is on the rise. People are looking for alternative products to every day. Right now, there are several countries around the world that have already banned the use of certain chemical filters in their sunscreens. such is the case of Mexico. This is why we're targeting specifically this country that will allow us to reach a much larger market and will increase our impact as well. SunSpector was founded in 2019 and we reached market on March of 2020. Right now we have more than 17 different products and more in development, and we have 2 different revenue streams, our B2C directly through our website and our B2B in strategic locations. In this first and a half year of sales, we have managed to avoid more than 2,000 kilograms of CO2 emissions by reutilizing this agricultural waste and avoiding plastic containers. We have also worked with a local NGO by the adoption of a coral reefs in a coral nursery in the Pacific coast of Costa Rica for their recovery. We're a women-founded and led team. We're all from different areas, but with one common goal, the conservation of nature. We're now seeking for 250K as a convertible note to develop this new market and to develop also an R&D lab back in Costa Rica to take our impact beyond papaya. Join the SunSpector tribe. Protecting nature is our revolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariola. Great presentation. Up next is Adi Reza from Mycotech, Indonesia. A warm round of applause welcoming him as well.
The leather product that we wear today is polluting our world. But mushroom can save it. In 2012, we started selling gourmet mushroom in a small village of Indonesia. I'm an architect, and my co-founder was a biotech engineer. We are wondered, is there any possibility to bring this technology as a brick? And by doing collaborations with ETH Zurich and Karlsruhe Institute, in 2017, we successfully created building materials from mushroom composite. Somehow, this technology can harvest to be paper-like materials. In 2018, my friend came to us. Is it possible to create as a sneaker? Not really sure back then, but we successfully create a mushroom leather and sneaker that I'm wearing today. So, starting my humble beginning as a selling gourmet mushroom in a small village in Indonesia, now we bring this technology to the biggest polluting industry in the world, fashion. After 3 years of doing market research and validating the product, 2 months ago was a historical moment for us for doing collaborations and participated at Paris Fashion Week by having collaboration with LVMH prize-winning designers to create 8 beautiful products, including this badass leather jacket. Recently, we gained more tractions and trust by collaborating with 6 global brands. It works. It really good. It works with them. From biggest polluter, now they can create product that can save 70% of water, reducing global warming potential reductions up to 68%, and 17% of energy consumption, less energy consumptions. In total, we have $10 million of book sales. It's equal to create 200,000 pair of shoes, but our production capacity is only 700. So we're inviting you to join this vision to bring more products to the market. We are expecting to close our Series A soon, sort of investment of $5 million. Half of it already committed, and then we're still looking for the investors, advisors, and experts to bring us to the next level. I hope today you can see how mushroom can save the world differently, from creating beautiful product like this, watch, wallet, and saving environment. I'm Adi, CEO and co-founder of MYCL. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adi. And we're staying in Indonesia, moving to Fales Roland from Pijak Bumi. Let's welcome him with a round of applause.
Thank you. Okay. Hi, good morning everyone. I'm supposed to talk to you who's wearing shoes today. Raise your hand. Oh, then I talk to you, everyone. Yeah, shoes is a symbol of our generation. And everyone craving for shoes, so do I. It started 10 years ago when I designed my shoes, and I have sold 1,000 pairs of shoes, not only to local, but also I ship to overseas. But the dark side of my company, the first company, is all of the shoes is made in the place like this. It's a cave, yeah, consists of 6 people. They live, they eat, they work in the place like this. And yeah, I started to make a difference from that. Or maybe your shoes also made in the place like mine before. So this is what I created in 2016. I created Pijak Bumi by consider that the materials, I changed the material with biodegradable and recycled materials. Also, 80% of the water can be reused, and I pay more, 70% more for our labor. So this is our current business model. We sell in B2B and B2C, but we try to extend the life cycle of our shoes by using reuse and recycle program. So every worn of Pijak Bumi shoes can send back to us, and we can recycle it into the secondary products. This is the team that made of young people who believe that every one of us can make a difference. So through that team, we have selected as emerging designers, one of the most prestigious event in Europe, in Italy. And we have sold 10,000 pairs of shoes, and we have empowering 30 local artisans, partnership with big manufacturing, and also spread our products to Japan and Switzerland market. And it started with the shoes, but imagine that every little products around us can be produced more responsibly. We can create a bigger impact as our ambition to build the most and the biggest sustainable lifestyle brand in the Asia Pacific. So I invited you to be on my shoes that I'm raising 125K in equity to reach market penetration and leverage our inventory level. Thank you. I hope everyone can join this opportunity, and see you soon.
Thank you so much, Palace. And we have the last 2 remaining presentations of the day, equally exciting as everything else that you heard. Up next, we have Tope. We have Tope. I see both people moving. We have Tope from Scrapace, Nigeria. Please welcome him on stage.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tope Sulaiman, and I'm co-founder of Scrapace. Scrapace facilitates the recovery of recyclable materials. Today, I want us to think about, we made a choice to be here today. Take a moment to reflect about people who do not have those choices. 3 years ago, I met a man who for 20 years has collected recyclable materials informally in the Nigerian market. And in all of that 20 years, what he could think about every day was if he made enough money that day for himself and for his family. In all of that time, he could not do anything or pass on any legacy. Unfortunately, I was unable to help him. What we do today, after speaking with him, was I realized that 3 things were really important. First, 1% in every urban population today in developing countries make a living by scavenging recyclable materials. In Lagos, Nigeria alone, where I come from, that's over 200,000 small micro businesses that are surviving from scavenging recyclable waste. Secondly, of all of their struggles, they have not been able to recover more than 10% or even less of all of the recyclable materials that is produced. Thirdly, waste producers like ourselves cannot dispose of their recyclable materials in the most efficient manner. So what we've done is to give collectors like this a solution and pull traffic to them from our waste producers so that they can deliver their services to waste producers. Also, collecting recyclable materials is one thing, disposal is another thing. We also created agents who typically are Airbnb for recyclable waste. They give us their own spaces so that they can store materials and get commission from it. What we've done is to provide an offline technology, looking at internet penetration, an online technology, and also use an IoT device to be able to give compensation for everybody within the value chain. Either you dispose of your recyclable materials, you collect recyclable materials, or you store recyclable materials, you have a compensation for doing that and participating in the circular economy. What we do is to take 30% of the value of the recyclable materials as a business. So we are a team of 7 active persons, and I've been able to I made a choice, and I worked in 3 African countries, but we are working together with our team to also give people like this the choices to be able to make more money and also make more impact. Over the past 12 months, we have been able to divert 23 12-ton trucks off the streets of Lagos and be recycled. We've also been able to save 1,600 people, New Yorkers, of all of their entire year emissions. We also have been able to get them 30% more of the income that they have made. In the next 24 months, we're looking to work with over 20,000 of these businesses, and we're looking to have much more impact. We're raising our pre-seed round today of $250,000 US, and we already have 70,000 commitment. We're looking for business experts as well that would help us to grow our business. Thank you very much. Scrap does pay.
Thank you, Tope. Impressive impact. Thank you for that. And last but not least, we have Umut from, may I just have the clicker, please? Thank you. We have Umut from According Eureka, Turkey. Sorry. Oh, no.
Thanks. We are already in trouble. And we all have responsibilities to keep global warming under 1.5 degrees. But do you know, what are you going to do tomorrow in the morning? I was asking these questions to myself, and this is me in the waste bin. Our journey started in order to streamline all the waste operations. Although it worked very well, it was only one portion of that big sustainability problem. So today, we have new, more comprehensive and inclusive approach to that. Sustainability as a service. We brought this concept with the confidence of our proven software platform and our global partners. So if you have responsibilities related with sustainability and chain of custody, we deliver your targets and save your money. We have 7 pillars. You can think of these 7 as 7 different companies to serve your needs. Waste operations, material recovery, sustainable products, sustainable agency, logistics, trainings and awareness, carbon credit, and currency on top of that. So we can work with all the sectors and all stakeholders to be much more inclusive. Just to give an example, if you have responsibilities related with material recovery and waste management, we have all the solution portfolio behind, software, hardware, and mobile application to cover all your needs. So far, we got $4 million of investment, working in 20 different countries, from Canada to Singapore, Sweden to South Africa. And we are working with TerraCycle, Migros, Carrefour, Alba. And our subscription model is 80% and doubling year by year. In the last year only, we managed 12 million tons of waste efficiently and increased the recycling rate, and we reduced 14 million kilograms of carbon emission. Currently, we are 55 strong and getting stronger day by day, specifically as internationally. So in the next year, we are, with the new move that we got, we are able to grow 10x, but more importantly, we'll be managing 100 million tons of waste efficiently, and we'll be reducing 80 million kilograms of carbon dioxide. In order to do that, we are going to localize in these 4 countries. So you all know about advisory boards, but we would like to invite you into our sustainability board if you are interested in. Not now, but we are going to be raising capital in the next year, around $10 million, in order to accelerate our growth and improve our impact. Lastly, after asking a couple of things from your side, I would like to offer our service at cost to those countries who cannot reach, who cannot afford these kind of projects, if you can help us to reach them. So join our forces to make the whole world sustainable. Thank you.
Thank you, Umut, for finishing on such an inspiring note and an invitation that is so difficult to refuse. I think he made really concrete invitations that are really difficult to refuse. We would just like to share the last two finalists that were not able to make it to Geneva. Mitero from China, who is synthetic biology, an advanced material company utilizing big data to create home compostable packaging materials made from plant-based agricultural waste. And we have the team from Sudan that didn't make it, T-Joint, providing solutions in the field of microfinance by facilitating access to loans and delivering complementary services such as training, consulting, feasibility studies, and electronic payment of installments. They're doing some amazing work in Sudan. So we now have 12 questions in the system, and we review them, and they're very specific, and we are above time because we started a bit later, but this means that you will have the opportunity to have some really rich conversations over coffee and croissants that are waiting for us outside. So I would invite you to go with those questions directly to the entrepreneurs and have a conversation. On our side, what we learn from the conversation today, what we are learning from this Building Bridges Week, is that there is definitely a state of urgency that has been accelerated by the COVID crisis, but there are solutions on the other side. And they're here. They came all the way to Geneva to be able to connect with you, to share, and to issue a call to action. So there are solutions, and the invitation was into collaboration. And each and every one of them offer different ways in which to collaborate and engage, starting with a simple conversation, which the alumni pointed is the first step into building trust and a human relationship that then goes into a business relationship. On that note, I would like you to invite you once again to engage with the entrepreneurs, to engage with us as a program as well. We are preparing to launch the next edition, and we're very happy to welcome more partners joining the other amazing group of partners that we would like to thank in this occasion: the Swiss Development Agency for Cooperation, for Development and Cooperation, the Canton of Geneva, our partners from Pfizer, the MAVA Foundation, and I hope I'm not missing anyone. Intent partnering with us on the event specifically, and also Impact for Breakfast. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining and spending your morning with us. And with this, we invite you to some coffee and croissants outside. Thank you.